Yeah, Arsenal fans, good to be back. And of course, it's been a wonderful day for all Arsenal fans. The Gunners won by 2-0 in the North London derby. Great match. So much was expected of these boys, and they came out biting. Of course, eventually we got two wonderful goals. And today we'll be looking at that match, and of course we'll be looking at every other match that was played in the EPL over the weekend. Quickly, let me introduce my guest on this show. Today I have a wonderful guest. Like I told you, we'll be having, once in a while, we'll be having guests on the show, and together we'll be looking at Arsenal, we'll be looking at matches to be played, and of course, we'll also be looking at the transfer window. So, my guest today is Mujib Jimo. Mujib Jimo is a sports analyst, he's a fan of Barcelona Football Club, and of course, is a passionate football commentator. So, Mujib, how are you today?
Very well. Thank you for that introduction.
So, Mujib, so you watch the Arsenal team today. The kind of football Arsenal plays presently. You want to say that this team is looking good for the title?
I'll say fantastic. I'll say the patience is paying off, and great job to the team. And you can see, like, I'll say we always know at this point what Arsenal to expect.
Yeah.
But the big question heading towards the North London derby was which Tottenham will show up.
Yeah.
But I think regardless of what side of the Tottenham team came up, I believe the Gunners have something. They had something. They had something ahead of them. And that really showed in the game, and the way the game plan was executed. The players, they understood what was needed.
Yeah.
And, you know, playing without the pressure of recent memories of what London derbies used to be for Arsenal. 9 years without winning at Tottenham, and today is a big day. It's a big day. It's a good day, and congratulations, Gunners.
Okay, let me cut you briefly. Before the season started, not many gave Arsenal a chance. Not many football fans gave Arsenal a chance. Many felt that perhaps the project Mikel Arteta was developing has not come to that point where you begin to believe that this team can achieve something this season. But as it stands now, the worst Arsenal can achieve this season is a top four place. So, what do you think has been the magic in this Arsenal team?
I'll point to the team chemistry and how the team has been able to evolve and bring in players from the outside. You look at players on the outside of the team.
Yeah.
I mean, going into this season, there was a lot of clouds surrounding players like Saka. There was the form of Partey with the injuries. Yeah. And Arteta did something wonderful there to get them to believe in the project. Like he always say, believe in the project. Yeah. And the result shows what the result is showing. And I'll say, the interesting part about this team currently is they're young, they have a spirit, a fighting spirit in them that we've not seen in recent time with the Arsenal team, and they have a spring in their foot, and they are currently going to toe to toe with the big guns. Yeah, we talk about the big guns, the Liverpools, the Man United, the Man City, and this phase that the Gunners are in currently, I'll say, you got to do something special to beat them.
So now, Man City was a team before the start of the season. Everybody was like, Man City is going to win the league. Man City has got the players. And suddenly, Man City is beginning to lose matches. And we've come to a point in the English Premier League where you think that you must have the money to be able to win the league. You must be one of the big spenders to win the league. And we've seen Chelsea, we've seen Man City going out there to buy established superstars. Arsenal don't seem to have established superstars. Young players trying to show their best on the field of play and getting the results. Something happened just a few days ago. Mikhailo Modric. All Arsenal fans were crying. We wanted Mikhailo Modric eventually. It happened on Saturday. Mikhailo Modric decided to dump Arsenal for Chelsea because Chelsea paid the 100 million euros that was needed. Arsenal needed to up their bid, but they didn't up the bid. Now, can we say that you don't really need to have the money to win the league? You just need to get the kind of players that are needed. And do you also think that Arsenal, without Mikhailo Modric, is missing something special?
I'll start from the money aspect. You know, when you see big teams, Guardiola had the money in the first season in the Premiership, and we see how that played out. Not so good.
But let me cut you. Having the money and buying the right player. I mean, you see, some people have the money. Guardiola had the money. He bought the right player. Chelsea has the money, but I'm not sure they're getting the kind of players they need to move the team forward.
I'll say it's about the team at this point. How you are able to make them play together. I think Chelsea is missing a big part when you look at the midfield and the defense. They are missing a whole lot in that area of the team. And since departures like the French player that went to Madrid, the defender, since he left, and with aging stars like...
you're talking of Rudiger?
Rudiger, Antonio Rudiger, and with aging stars like, Thiago Silva is still doing wonderfully well in that team.
Aspilicueta,
but and they've not been lucky with injuries, so to say. With Kante being out and Reece James as well. But I'll say, you don't just need the players. You need them to buy into the mentality of the club. You need them to understand what the objectives are at the end of the day. And it doesn't seem to be there for Chelsea currently. And that's what you get. You throw money in the market. You get the players, but do you have the right conditioning and the right environment to perform as expected? And it's a phase. They'll come out at the other side. How long it's going to take is the question. I hope they give Graham Potter enough chance to turn it around. Wonderful coach. We saw what he did at Brighton. But Chelsea that we know from in recent time don't always give that chance. I know they are under new ownership and all that, but still, the result has to come in. Like all the top coaches will tell you, it's a game of results. We went through that with Arteta as well at Arsenal. At a point in time, people were calling for him to go, and he preached the patience word. And here it is today, with the Gunners back at the top
of the table. 8 points clear. That is massive. Arsenal fans are celebrating around the world right now because it's been a long time, like you said, 9 years since Arsenal went to Tottenham Hotspur and get a result against their strongest rivals, talking about Tottenham Hotspur. But again, the Gunners went, they saw and they conquered. They won by 2-0. 2 wonderful goals. The first goal, you can give it to Bukayo Saka, but of course, Hugo Lloris. You want to imagine what happened to him when he considered that own goal. And of course, the second goal was a beauty from Martin Odegaard. That was a slicer. That was a beauty. And then, of course, as it stands now, it has come to a point where every Arsenal fan is beginning to believe. The word now is believe. The word is believe. Arsenal has been able to amass 47 points from 18 matches. And of course, most of the teams, apart from Man City, that is behind them, has played 19 matches. Arsenal has played 18 matches, and of course, they've been able to amass a total of 47 points. So now, what we're beginning to see now is a team that is getting confidence with every match. This Arsenal team is beginning to believe in their ability, and of course, they believe that they've got what it takes to win the title. Looking back at the sports match, looking back at what Arsenal did against Tottenham Hotspur today, will you say that there's something special in this Arsenal team? Is this that what could be the motivation behind this team with the kind of performance they are putting? They start the game like a house on fire and they end the game like a house on fire. The stamina, the energy, and of course the push. I don't know, what do you think has been the motivation behind this team?
I'll say the stability. The team, the players having each other's back. Like today we saw Tottenham had 7 shots on target to Arsenal's 5. But Arsenal got 2 goals, and the Arsenal goalkeeper was the man of the match, Ramsdale. Great young player, is massive to the team. And when you've got a team where everyone look out for each other and they play, to cover each other's tracks and all that, it's just normal. It's normal to get this kind of result, and this is the result of building a team in a way that everyone is looking in the same direction. Like not too long ago, the Gunners had the distraction of Aubameyang, and they handed him a new contract at that massive wage, and Arteta decided, okay, this is not it. This is not the attitude. This is not the attitude we want around these young players.
But that was a decision. That was a decision that so many Arsenal fans. It divided the Arsenal fan base. Some were against it, and some supported it. At that point, you needed a man who could stand by his decision. You think that Arteta was able to manage it the way you expected of him?
Absolutely, 100%, and he's lucky enough that the board sees it that way. Yeah. People like Edu and other part of the management team also supported the coach. I think the biggest thing for a coach is to have the backing of the board, and once you have that, you are able to make decisions, and you don't get questioned by it to an extent where it brings about that division in the dressing room, and that shows the way. The coach has to lead the way, and Arteta has shown that. He has laid down the groundworks, and we saw the same thing happen with United, with Ronaldo. One of the greatest players ever to play the game, and Erik ten Hag made the decision. That was a bold and very big decision. And we're seeing how the players are doing now. Not to say Ronaldo made the team become just poorer, but the freedom. You have one of the greatest players on the team, and they are all looking to him. But at some certain point, he lost something in terms of his attitude and the way which affected his performance, I would say. But with that, you can have that kind of cloud hanging around the team. And like I said, Arteta did a fantastic job with Xhaka. There was the rumor about him going to Roma, and the friction with the fans at certain point, the relationship was not good. But he was able to turn that around. I believe that might have been good job to the player as well, to be able to recognize his place on the team and come to terms with the fact that you have to be on this team or on the outside. So you have to make the decision, and we see how that is paying off currently. Is one of the better performance for Arsenal week in, week out, and he's also chipped in with some crucial goals at certain points.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so I'll say you have to create the right environment, and you need to set the ground rules around what was the standard, and with that, the discipline is going to help the team go far, and which is what we're seeing in this Arsenal team. They're disciplined. Today, we all through the match, there was the talk about Saliba and Bukayo Saka being one yellow card away from suspension, and they were able to keep their discipline and all that in a tension-soaked match against the Spurs away. I think give it to them, and this was a fantastic victory for the Gunners, and I believe it wasn't an easy ride. I'll say they should enjoy this victory, and I hope at the end of the season they're able to look back and be like, this was one of the wins that won us the Premier League, finally.
Wiji, thank you so much. Well, you've been watching Arsenal Fans Mouthpiece. Like I told you, every week we'll get special guests to come sit down here and discuss the Gunners. We're counting down. It's week 18, and of course, Arsenal is top of the table, 8 points away from Manchester City, and of course you also know that the other teams are just far behind. So we're beginning to count down, and we'll be counting down every week to the end of the season. I'll get Mujib here next weekend again to look at, of course, the next match that the Gunners is going to play. We are playing against Manchester City, and Arsenal will be home at the Emirates Stadium against Manchester United, not Man City. So we're playing against Manchester United at the Emirates Stadium next weekend, and we hope that this Gunners team will be able to go out there and get the result. If Arsenal wins their next match, of course, they will go to 50 points, and at that point, you can begin to count down, believing that these boys can win the title. Quickly, let's give you the result of other matches that we have played over the weekend. Manchester United won against Manchester City, and that was one reason why Arsenal fans felt we needed to win the match against Tottenham to be able to stay there. And of course, you also have Brighton beating Liverpool by 3-0. Brighton beating Liverpool. That was crazy.
You no one expected that. But in recent weeks, you look at the two teams with very being at different end of the spectrum. with Brighton being on the up and Liverpool
going down,
struggling with everything. They can't seem to get it together at this time. But like every big team, as we so refer to them, we believe they're gonna turn this around. But
are you sure Liverpool can make top four?
It depends on what those around them do.
Yeah.
Like we saw the Newcastle team today winning at the death with that Alexander Isak goal, that's another thing to watch out for. And now we're talking about Newcastle, breaking into the top four, and they deserve it. They've played well throughout the season, and they have a very good coach in Hull.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll say there are several dependencies there for Liverpool. One, they need to sort out their midfield, which we believe, and the injury to Van Dijk is not going to help. So the leadership is missing, which was what I saw in the Brighton game. But the Brighton team, oh wow, what a team!
Another team that is in good form is Manchester United. Man U at this point, they've won almost about 4 or 5 matches back to back, and then of course the form of Rashford is one for every fan of Manchester United to celebrate. I think that if you ask me, you might want to believe that Man U have got a team that could even topple Manchester City going into the final games of the season.
That's still up there, but City will always be City. Yeah. They've got one of the best coaches we've ever seen in the game in Guardiola. Yeah. He's experienced. They've been there. The mentality, they know how to turn these kind of things around, and they've kind of struggled a little bit, surprisingly though, in recent weeks. But the Manchester derby will always be high pressure and determined by the minor details, like what we saw with the equalizing goal by Bruno Fernandes yesterday.
Was that an offside?
The rule of the game, talks about it not being offside, but I think the decision has been made, and we can go about it and be like, and Guardiola kind of yesterday resigned to the fact that they can't win the Premier League. I think he's trying to distract. He's trying to play the mind games. Yeah. Now the mind games are setting in. Yeah. You rise City off at your own peril, and they've 2 times champion back to back, and they are always there. They will always be there. And for the United team, and for Rashford, and finally, he's kind of fulfilling some of the promises that everyone believed he has, and he struggled with injuries. I'm very happy for him that he's coming back, and he's on a good goal scoring run, and not just that, his overall play is better, and you have to be happy for the young man and the whole United team as a whole. Since Sir Alex Ferguson left, I think this is the time that they have the same belief like the Arsenal team currently, and it just makes for a good season finale for the fans, and is gonna be very, very competitive and interesting towards the end. So I as much as I want to say we're getting to that business end of the season. We're about being halfway now with 19 games for some and 18 for some of the team, but now is when we used to talk about separating the men from the boys, and I think Liverpool will still be part of the men at the end of the day, because they've got the quality and they've got Luis Diaz out, and you expect players like Gakpo and Nunes to finally turn the corner, and they have a very experienced coaching club as well. So it just takes something to.
I think it takes change. 1 or 2 wins for them to begin to believe in themselves. You're still watching Arsenal Fans Mouthpiece, and we still have Mujib Jimo in the house, and we'll be looking at matches in the English Premier League, matches that were played over the weekend. Mujib, we've been talking about. You've been talking about the EPL and the big teams. Like, of course, we also discussed about Manchester United, the form of Manchester United going into the weekend. Of course, like I said, Liverpool will be playing against playing against Chelsea, and that seemed to be the star match. Man U, Arsenal, Liverpool versus Chelsea, and Mikhailo Modric. The world will be looking at Mikhailo Modric. Is that a match for him to announce his presence?
I'll say, is an opportunity. I'm not sure if Graham Potter will give him the minute because, the Premiership is a different ballgame to what he's ever played in. And, oh boy, against the Liverpools, I mean...
For 100 million euros, you want to put him on the bench?
Yeah, we've seen this happen with Grealish. He's still coming to terms with, playing on that Man City team. Yeah. He's been in the Premier League, but going to City was a totally different ball game for him. And he mentioned just recently about how difficult it has been for him to settle in with the team now. Fantastic talent, Modric, but we're talking about the Premiership here, and we're talking about a team going up against a team that are recent champions, and they've done so well domestically and even in Europe. I mean, Liverpool. So I'll say it's an opportunity for him to see the quality and what he has to offer. And in recent time, over the when we look back in history, we've had players from Shakhtar like Fernandinho, like Willian, grace the Premiership, and they've done really well. And I'm not expecting him to be different. If Chelsea is going all out to spend that kind of money on him, and definitely for Arsenal to also wanted to buy the player as well. I think there used to be a joke back in the day that Arsenal knows how to spot the talent. Yeah. They definitely, if the Gunners are coming to buy a player, there's something they're seeing. They have this fantastic eye for talent, and the recruitment, the team they currently have right now is very good, and they're doing some wonderful transactions there regarding their player transfer and all that, and their recruitment as a whole. So I'll say, Modric, welcome to the Premier League, and this is where the game is, and I wish him all the very best as he begins his journey as a Chelsea soccer player, and we'll see how the game goes against Liverpool, and it will be interesting to see,
put your money on what happens between Man U and Arsenal. So before we go, let me just quickly get your prediction. Arsenal versus Man U, Liverpool versus Chelsea. Your prediction?
That's really putting me on the spot there, but I'll say with current form, you can't bet against United, right? Even though we know we're so excited about this Arsenal team and all that. I think for neutrals like me, I want to see a good game. But for Arsenal, maintaining their, even though it will affect their points, but that would be a good one. But with Arsenal playing at home, as we've come to expect these days, we're looking forward to an Arsenal win. But we can't rule out the United. It depends on what United shows up. I know they've had that consistency, but Arsenal has been doing this since the beginning of the season. So you want to put your money on the Gunners, nicking it in that game. And for the Liverpool-Chelsea game, I think on current form, both teams are struggling. But I want to say with the quality on both teams, you've got Salah right there, who is a decider. He's a game changer, and you can bet against him coming up with something to actually lift this Liverpool team against Chelsea. And I think on the balance of things, I'm seeing a Liverpool victory and potentially an Arsenal win against United.
Well, Mujib has said it all, and of course, like I told you, this is Arsenal Fans Mouthpiece, the show where we look at everything Arsenal. Of course, we also take a peep into the English Premier League, the matches that will be played, or perhaps the matches that have been played. It's been another wonderful edition of the show, and hopefully we'll be back again next weekend after the Arsenal match against Manchester United. That match is a big match, and all Arsenal fans are looking forward with great expectation. Mujib, I want to say thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
We can have you here again next week Sunday.
Absolutely.
God
My pleasure.
All the best.
Bye for
We'll
now.
be back next week. Bye-bye. The 2020 World Cup in Qatar has come and gone, and of course the excitement has blossomed. Of course, everybody is still talking about the World Cup. Messi, Kylian Mbappe, those are the stars of the World Cup. Those two wonderful footballers are going back to Paris Saint-Germain, and of course, we are the fans of the EPL. Every Arsenal football fan is focused on the start of the second half of the EPL season. Arsenal is top of the table, and on this show, this is the biggest sports show, the biggest football show, where we'll focus on Arsenal Football Club and lots about the EPL. We'll be discussing how Arsenal wants to pick the league after so many years. And of course, whoever is coming to Arsenal will give you how you need to know on this show. My partner will join me every week to give you the best of excitement. Up